Hello and welcome to the Meeting Gold podcast. My name is Samuel Miele. Thank you so much for listening. We have an extremely special guest. Eric, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah. Thanks. First of all, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
My name's Eric Cleary. I'm the co-founder of OrangeList Property Management, and I also run a real estate team called the investment team at Remax Niagara.
Right.
So we specialize in everything real estate related.
You kind of are a jack of all trades when it comes down to, I guess, property in general, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Didn't intend for it to be that way, but it just kind of morphed into that. And
So, wait, let me ask you this to start, because I find this really funny, were you the guy fixing the toilets, doing all the plumbing and electricity when you were first starting out?
I was the guy making the call for someone to go fix the toilets
Gotcha.
And fix the doorknobs and stuff like that. Absolutely. I was.
So let's dive into that, because you were telling me a little bit off camera, and I want to kind of really touch on that again, is how you built your company, OrangeList. I mean, it's not anything like small. Like it's for anybody who doesn't know, in the Niagara area, if you're around here, you've probably heard of OrangeList Property Management. Give us a little rundown on what OrangeList does.
So the history is I met Brian, who's my business partner.
Gotcha.
He's the other co-founder. When I was working at TELUS, I was selling cell phones, and I overheard him reject a BlackBerry warranty at the time. So I interjected myself in to kind of assist my colleague, and I sold him on this warranty. And we got chatting, and he had already been in the real estate industry for 5-6 years. He had some ideas, needed some help with leasing because he was selling investment properties and he couldn't find the tenants for his clients. So that's kind of how we got chatting. And then as time went on, we started reaching out for new business to help lease people's houses. And then people wanted this whole package service where it's like, well, can you do this? Can you collect the rent? Can you manage the maintenance?
So you started seeing like people wanting more and more out of you guys because you were already excelling at the
leasing. Yeah.
Interesting.
So then, me and Brian having a couple beers with sticky notes all over a wall of departments and ideas morphed into what we have now, which is a full service property management company.
That's incredible. I mean, it's, it's certainly impressive to say that when you were working for TELUS, I mean, you were telling me you were like working basically full time at TELUS, were you not?
Full-time student at Brock and working pretty much full time at TELUS. Yeah.
So that's two major things right there. But then on top of that, starting a business of your own.
Yeah.
So what did that kind of look like? Like, I mean, obviously it was stressful. I'm not going to ask that simple question, but was there like times when you were just like, why? Like, what's the point? Or was it kind of just like a full out grind? Like, I know I can make it.
Yeah, man. I think any entrepreneur has those moments where they sit back and go, "Is this what I should be doing?
Yeah.
Do I want to have to make these decisions?
Right.
Do I want to stay till 3-4 a.m.?" So yeah, I had those moments. I think like anybody else. Did I have a dream? Did I see a segment of the market that needed a product or a service that I could provide? Absolutely, and that's why I put so much work and effort into it. But yeah, it was tough. Like I'd meet Brian at the office. We shared a little desk. We each had our computer and we shared this little tiny dinky office. And meet him at 7. We'd run ideas and do some cold calling, later, like maybe 8 o'clock or so, to reach out for new business. And then I'd go to class, and in between classes, I'd be leasing houses and then go back to school, then go to TELUS and work like a 4:30 to 9, and then again start running ideas and doing stuff in the evening. So it was about a 6 to 10 month grind like that.
Okay, yeah.
Before I finally left TELUS and put full focus on OrangeList.
And let me ask you this, because I think it's very interesting. A lot of people with ideas, and I guess you could be a really good example for people starting out, is a lot of people who have great ideas or think they do, or, they think that I can do it. I can commit myself to this, but they're comfortable. They're comfortable at TELUS. They're comfortable at, McDonald's. They're comfortable. Like when you're at a job and you have an idea that's going to work, where would you say is the breaking point in which you say, bye-bye, old job? You know what I mean?
That's an excellent question, and I read a book, and any entrepreneur I think should read it. It's not a long book. It's The Reluctant Entrepreneur by Michael Masterson.
Oh my word, I've never heard of that, but the title
wonderful book. And in I think it's the first or the second chapter, he focuses on this a smart entrepreneur, doesn't come up with a brand new idea. And if you do that and it works, great. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's to take an existing product or service and make it better. Right. And the other big thing he mentions in that chapter is you don't, almost like a monkey, you don't have to let go of this branch until you've got a firm grip on this branch. And what I mean by that is don't just quit your job and hop into your business. Test your business, right? See if there's a demand. See if people like the product. Once you start generating some revenue, right? Because it's hard to say that you have to quit your job and shut your family out to focus on this business, else it won't succeed. You can slowly grow. Now, maybe it takes you a year instead of 3 months or 6 months. Right? Yeah. That's a much safer, reliable type process than quitting everything and diving in. Keep the revenue coming in, because that will actually help you get your business off the ground. Right. And like I just said, I think almost a year at TELUS before I fully dove in. Right. And I was like, okay, now it makes sense. Now I need that extra 30 hours a week to put into the business, because there's only so many hours. I got to sleep. Right. No, it's true. That's very interesting, because, like, granted, me starting my business, I was working at McDonald's, and, but I didn't need the money. You know what I mean? Like, I was young. I still am. I don't need to pay rent. I don't need to, even right now, pay for school. I'm very blessed in that way. So I had that free reign to kind of just say, let's dive in. Yeah. But I 100% see what you're saying, because when somebody is, trying to work full-time it's crazy. Working full-time, working as a student, right? Because it is work. Yep. And then working as a job to pay the bills. And then on top of that, trying to create something for yourself, like you said, it's a grind. Like there's nights when you're like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore, or I can't, you know what I mean? So it's very clear that it takes a personality or a type of person to do that. And I think I could pick it out, but let me ask you what do you think got you to really push past that point and not break? I think I realized, even, and this might sound silly, even going to university was kind of stressful and a big decision for me. Right. Most kids just automatically go. Like I took 2 years off. Oh, wow. So you took your time. Okay. Yeah. Like I was the first in going back many generations to go to university. Right. Wow. So even that was, so I quickly learned that, I did some of my best developmental growth when I was in situations I was uncomfortable with. Right. So that I applied that to my business. And when I was at those moments where I felt like, am I in over my head? Should I slow down, do this? Where are you at, Brian? Like we put ourselves in that situation and we figured it out. And it wasn't perfect by any means. Right. But we were able to just continue offering people a good service and pushing through those thresholds. And even today, like we're partnering on some big developments, 150 million, 350 million, where we're responsible for all the short-term vacation rental stuff, all the long-term stuff. Like I don't have a perfect model. I have a business that functions with departments and so on. Right. We don't have a plan for that. We're in still it, working through and now we're figuring it out, right? So again, I'm not telling people to not try to mitigate their exposure and their risk and try to make calculated decisions, but you definitely got to step out of your comfort zone somewhere 100%. Along the path. And again, as much as I have confidence today and I can walk into meetings with the suits and all the rest of it and have a good conversation with whoever I'm sitting down with, if you don't think I've been in my office in tears going, what am I doing with my life? Why am I'm so stressed out. I don't know how I'm going to do this and that. I've been there. Right. And those are the moments where I think as you're tested as an entrepreneur or a business owner or high level manager, whatever it may be, those are the moments that separate you to almost determine where you're going to head. Yeah. I got to shed light on all of that there. It's tough to. Yeah, go ahead, take some coffee. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. I'm comfortable here.
There you go. It's the chairs, right? But, I want to shed light on all of it. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to do so. Yeah. But building the business, cold calling, doing that kind of stuff. In this podcast, we talk a lot about relationships and networking. And that's been something that I've really found crucial to business. I mean, in my opinion, once you understand that business is just simply relationships, you're going to be very successful, 100%. Right? And happy, because you're meeting new people that you genuinely want to spend time with, get to know. You know what I mean? So for you, knowing that business is relationships, how did you go about building those relationships, networking. You know, it's one thing to cold call, but like to even have the guts to cold call is, like, I mean, think about it. So many people hate that. But then to throw cold calling and then to actually get a meeting with them, where does that look like? What does that process look like in terms of relationship building?
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, just for me as a young guy, because most of the people in the industry, even today, that I'm competing with or have experience or doing this stuff, there's younger professionals everywhere, don't get me wrong. Excuse me. But it was doing the things that other people wouldn't do.
Interesting.
Right? Like I would make that call at 11. I would drive to the house just to check on something small.
Yeah.
I would do a lot of those little things where, you know, was I trying to give somebody a special experience? 100%, right? Again, but selfishly, I knew that would help solidify that relationship.
Yeah.
Be like, I've done these things that no one else would do, and maybe they would, but at the
see,
time,
that's not
no one
even
would do it.
selfishly.
You know, like,
that's smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Again, I'm very comfortable with myself. So when I throw that around, like, I'm telling you what I was going through, putting the client first, you know, but selfishly, like for me personally, or for a company, knowing it would help. And yes, it's a smart decision making and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's just those moments, and putting people first, and people throw it around so frequently. And I don't, there's a difference with living that and really focusing on value, right? It's what can I do for you? The money and all the other stuff comes after, right? And I had to shift my thinking there, right? Because you start making money, life's good. It's like, oh, I want to buy this and that. Right. You know, things happen very fast for us. So even taking a step back at 26, 27 years old, going, okay, I want to live a certain life. I like nice things, blah, blah. I want to go on fancy vacations, but really reminding yourself where this all comes from, right? Yeah. It's not like I was lost and lost focus, but, you know, again, it's your mind can wander, right? So just reminding you of those tough nights. And again, I was at the office last week till 3 a.m. Yeah. So it still happens today, right? Yeah. But again, just really, where can I add value? And if you can do something a little bit differently for somebody and provide something unique, see it through. Yeah. Right? Don't you see it through. Don't just say, hey, I can do this and that. And you know, maybe do one or two of them. Just do it. Just push through, because there's things that I do every day that I don't love. I love what I do, but there's bits and parts that I don't love.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's not like from morning till night, every call, every conversation with an employee, I'm like, oh, that was the best conversation ever. like that's not the truth, right? So push yourself, and it's no different than a student in school, right? Like, you're gonna have classes you love and classes you don't love. Yep. You got to put the work in all the way through, right?
Let me touch on that a little bit. Yeah. It shows commitment. Mm-hmm. Like, it shows persistence, commitment, drive. I mean, you watch the movie with the founder, right? From the guy that started McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
He said the number one trait was persistence. Yeah. Persistence. And so it goes to show how crucial it is to, you know, starting a business, because it's not going to be smooth sailing, you know, right from the get-go. And you know, I see a lot of people, they have an idea, they want to pursue it, but they don't take the action to do so. And, you know, in my opinion, I'm thinking, well, if you're not going to take the action to do so, you say you're going to keep doing it. Like, I know people that are like that. Mm-hmm. And I feel for them, because I know that where they're at, it's not where they want to be, but they have they're envisioning a place that they want to be that is so attainable if they were to just commit and be persistent and drive towards that goal. What would you say to somebody in that position? I mean, in the end, it comes down to them. But if you could, like, give them that little boost, what would it sound?
I would say, don't be so worried on the big, large, massive goals, right? Focus on small stuff. And don't, and when I say small stuff, I don't mean, you know, once a month or once every 2 weeks. Like, there's little things you can do almost daily. And I was someone that didn't have to write my goals down. I know that's something that a lot of people do. I never did that. I envisioned where I wanted to be, and I would focus on little things to get there. And it would be like the first thing I thought about in the morning. Like, it would wake up and be like, it would just cross my mind. It might be 5 minutes a day. It might be 20 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be this 2 hour a day you're reading the same goal over and over again. So it's like imprinted in your brain. So just focus on little things you can do to get there, right? Like, you have a bigger goal. You know, I'm not someone who plans 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm not. I deal with what's ahead of me. Obviously, I have plans. And
you have ideas and that you want to be
do
at.
I have some perfect plan of this amount here and this much equity there? No, like I have goals and I do little things to get there. So my advice, as being someone who is fairly organized for the most part, you know, I've always been organized. Well, not always. My mother would disagree with that. But for the most part, in my business,
the 6-year-old Eric shows otherwise.
Yeah, in my business career is you know, obviously try to envision, right? Like you almost like, you know, people talk about this manifesting. Like I believe in that big time,
100%,
right? Because you just your body language, your ideas, the way you think, like you know, your subconscious will just start to just do things to get you there. If you believe in yourself enough.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And again, you got to do little things to maybe build that confidence, right? Like you're not going to come out. I couldn't sit here with you 5 years ago and have this conversation. Like I wasn't there yet. Right. And I'm going to look back 5 years from now and be like, well, I thought I was confident then. Like here I am now. So do something small. It doesn't have to be big, but just see it through. You know, maybe you want to read an article or two every morning. Like that's what I do. I read a different article. Maybe it's about real estate, international relations, economics, economies.
Something to benefit your mindset for the day.
Something to create that you know, and B, something to have a conversation. Because again, when you're dealing with different people, something different's going to excite everybody. Right?
It's true.
One person, you're there for real estate. Maybe they want to talk about what's going on in China right now. With the banks. Maybe they want to talk about, you know, international relations, European, whatever. Like just different things will come up. I'm not an expert in every field, but you know, but you want to have a conversation.
You know how to have that conversation.
Right. So just that's something small that I started, and I've been doing that now for 3-4 years.
You know, I really want to touch on the part that you discussed with manifestation, because I think it's almost like, I remember the first time that I started, I wrote down on a notepad, it was like a paragraph, because I read the book Think and Grow Rich. I don't know if you read it. Phenomenal book. And so I read that, and he talked about saying something to yourself every single day out loud, in silence and in peace, and telling yourself and closing your eyes and envisioning where you're going to be. I started doing that, and that was 8 months ago. And it was to where I want to be today. And I surpassed every single goal that I wanted to hit.
For you.
And it's thank you. It's very interesting. I bring that up because it shocked me. I was like, wait, I genuinely believed that I could do this. And so you touched on that, is believing that you can truly do something. Do you have any tactics that you use in order to really envision or believe that you could be where you were or be where you want to be?
I don't know if I could pinpoint a habit or
It's a tough question.
Mindset is very everyone's different, right? Like some people can shift their mindset from a book. Some people can shift their mindset from a really important mentor,
right?
Or an event in their life that was really, you know, like what's the word I'm looking for? Monumental.
Yes.
In terms of their experience. So for me, it was just accomplishing things, like, you know, doing something that I didn't think I could do, I think is where I got the most amount of my confidence and ability to want to try new things. And really, like I said it already once, I'll say it again. I was very aware of my feelings and who I am as a person.
Right.
I knew how well feeling really uncomfortable would do for me. And it starts back in university, well, more further back than that.
Even further back,
in university, giving a presentation to 500 students. Man, I was so nervous.
Really? Not a big speaker then, eh?
Now I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can get up on stage in front of thousands of people and feel fine. And I've done pretty big things in front of lots of people and smart people, you know, beginners, all that sort of thing. So again, I was able to identify what that could do for me as a person, and then how I could, you know, reach out to more people and offer more products and services and this and that, because I put myself in that spot where I was nervous or felt like I couldn't do it, or you see these other people do it and you're like, wow, like I wish I could do that. And you put yourself in that situation, and leading up to it is nerve-wracking, right? Like there's nothing about it that's comfortable. But I can tell you, for the people that maybe do want to try something and are scared or don't think they can do it, if you can get past that I can't do it part, and you can overcome that anxiety, it might only take one event, one presentation, and it can open up so many doors that you don't even know exist, right? So again, I'm big on, and my buddy James that you had on as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think he mentioned that if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yes.
I think I gave that to him, but you'll have to chat.
We'll forget that you said that to James.
But it's so true, right? And that's my mindset, and I couldn't agree with that statement more.
No, and I actually distinctly remember him saying that because it popped. It was like, wait, that's true. Eric, we could go in so much more in depth on OrangeList and that kind of area, but I want to ask you more of a personal question in the sense that you're doing all these things. You're on a real estate. You help manage a real estate team. You're a co-owner of a very large company. Where do you see yourself in general, whether it's mentally, physically, wherever, in 5 years from now? Because a lot can happen in 5 years.
He mentions physical because I need to get to the gym. That's fine. I caught your underlying message. No, I'm just joking. I mean, again, I'm by no means where I want to be. I feel like there's so much more value that I can bring to people, and I'm eager to continue to see that through. There's moments where you step back and enjoy where you're at. That's important too, right? The journey, journey is very important, and that's something I only learned a few months ago. Yeah. Right. I was
because you're so focused on the grind, right? That you're like, I don't know, how do I take a break?
Yeah. It's so true. So we got some new ventures coming up. We're opening an office in Florida. That's going to be launching soon. Wow. This year launching.
That's huge. Congrats.
Just outside of Tampa Bay. So that's pretty exciting. My business partner's there. He's been there for the past year.
Lucky.
Yeah. We've opened another business here. It's more vacation rental. Side of things. So continuing, to step outside of that comfort zone, right? Because we're in a position now where we could, continue to grow, but just kind of coast. But we don't want to do that, right? Like we want to continue, like with this development. We're in a Stanley district in Niagara Falls. It's a $150 million development.
Wow. Yeah.
There's so many cool ideas that me and the head developer have been discussing that's never been tried. Like we don't even know if it's going to work,
right?
Or how successful it'd be, or do people enjoy that? So continuing to put myself in those positions, because by no means am I some mega rich person that could live on this yacht.
But you've been around the block when it comes down to that,
but could I definitely step back and coast a little bit? For sure. And for me, I guess as an individual, it's more than simply money, right? And again, I admit it, I like nice things. I'm definitely not. Money has nothing to do with it, but it's definitely more the value that I can bring and putting myself in those positions where I can continue to remind myself that I can work hard and feel uncomfortable and still provide value and still give good service and not have all the answers, right? Like you gotta be able to somehow you gotta believe in yourself enough to do it. Have an idea, structure somewhat of a plan. Like you're dealing with whether it's a bit of money or a lot of money. If you're offering something to someone, you got to have some plan.
You got to organize it. Yep.
But you might not need 100%.
Right.
You might need to have 70% figured out. You'll figure out that 30 as you go, and you'll make mistakes. And if you're honest and truthful throughout the process, and you set expectations, managing expectations is a huge thing. I could go on about that.
100%. Yeah.
Manage expectations with your clients and your relationships. That's huge. But yeah, just continuing to trust myself, trust my team, trust my business partner, trust these things that sometimes your mind wanders and questions.
Right.
To figure it out. And I think that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur and not having a boss directly. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. There's tons of value.
Oh, no, 100%. Yeah.
But what I love about an entrepreneur is I have an idea up here.
You can make it happen whenever you want.
I can then start to shift my thinking to implementation, concept, all these sort of fun, and that's what I like, right? And
it's creative in a way, right? Like it's enjoyable, and for me on a smaller scale, I 100% agree with you because it's like it's fun to be able to take an idea and be like, hey, I'm gonna give this a shot, you know, and it's like nobody's stopping you. You know what I mean?
And fail.
Yeah. It's
failing
exciting.
is beautiful, people. I'm telling you, some of them suck. I've been in whether it's money, whether it's a relationship that I've lost, it sucks. Like, don't get me wrong. but the follow through or the outcome, the result is so beautiful.
Yes.
Because what that does to you, if you're somebody who doesn't want to do the same dumb thing twice, I've done a lot of dumb things, and I've done a few twice, but I definitely haven't hit the 3-4 mark probably, but I can't think of any specific example. So, enjoy it. It's beautiful. There's going to be times where you're doing very well, and then there's times where you're really stressed out and things are not going well. And it's how you manage that is what I think will determine what your future will look like. Be comfortable with yourself, know who you are.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to be, if you're really out there, that's your personality, be that person.
Yep.
Because there's no more, like if you're trying to manage a business and staff and people and all these things and you're not comfortable with yourself, that's going to be, now you're battling demons that are getting in the way of what you could potentially be offering. Right. So be comfortable with yourself. Right. And that's, I know that hasn't been the direction of this podcast.
Oh, hey,
but
listen,
it's totally valuable information, and an important point to make is just be comfortable with yourself, and doesn't mean you can't change a little bit and grow. That's a good thing.
Yep.
But your core values, don't worry about what everyone thinks.
Don't change them for people.
There's a place for you, right? There's a place for everybody on this planet. So be that person. Except obviously some really bad people that we can name, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
There's a place for you, right? So manage, just manage that and be yourself and move forward.
I don't think anybody could disagree with you, because it's like, and I see this, if you're yourself, whether it's in video in my industry or yourself in your business and talking with people on the daily nonstop, it's so valuable because people actually respect you more.
Yeah.
Right. And I love when you said failing is beautiful. Like I could quote that on the wall all around here because it really is. It's humbling.
If you see that, that's mine.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
It's humbling.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable, but it's enjoyable because the success that you get from failing is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And with those two mixed in together, I mean, you know what? Perfection is a killer. And unfortunately, school does a good job at making you want to be perfect for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And, I think that's my biggest with it is like, you cannot want perfection. I mean, you can strive for it,
Sure.
but you cannot expect that you'll never make a mistake. And if you do, you cannot let it be detrimental to your mindset, your physical body, your mentality. I mean, it cannot be, it just has to be a learning curve. Thank you for listening to this week's Golden Guest on the Meeting Gold podcast. If you learned something from today's episode, make sure to check out our other content on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, make sure to leave us a follow while you're there. Thanks, and have a golden day.